Welcome back to 5 Minutes of X, where I find out I've missed a mutant and have to go back to 1965.
Where? Back to the future!
So today we cover two comics released on September 7th, 1967. The X-Men number 38 and the Avengers number 46 were both written by Roy Thomas. Art on the X book was done by Don Heck and John Buscema on the Avengers book. X-Men number 38 opens with our five favorite mutants speaking with Nerd Helmet alum, the Mutant Master. In the last ish, he escaped from the base where Factor 3 was trying to hold the X-Men, but is still wanting to start a world war with some nukes. He has taken Changeling with him, and Changeling still has Banshee and Charles on those funny biobeds. The X-Men escape in the Factor 3 metal flying saucers. Changeling and the Mutant Master have a relationship that's somewhat toxic. Factor 3 needs an HR department because Mutant Master is just straight up picking on this poor dude. Later in the issue, Charles is allowed to speak but not move, and he starts trying to get Changeling to betray the Mutant Master. When Changeling straight up just smacks Charles for making this attempt, the Mutant Master again punishes him. It's just the most toxic workplace of all time. The X-Men return to the mansion, and our heroes use Cerebro to find the two nuclear sites that have been sabotaged. When these sites blow, the whole world blows. So there goes the idea that it's a nuclear war. It's going to be a nuclear winter. Everybody's going to die. So one of the sites is in Russia, and the other one is right here in the USA on a military base. And remember, this was written during the Cold War, so it's kind of like a lot of Cold War iconography. The team must split up, and from here, I'm going to tell each story on its own to make things a little less confusing. So Angel, Marvel Girl, and Beast head to Russia and infiltrate a castle-themed military base. It looks pretty cool. Inside, they find Vanisher and Blob, and what turns out to be two hooded androids. These members of Factor 3 are also not supposed to be in this Russian base, so it kind of becomes like a three-way battle between the Russian troops, Factor 3, and the X-Men. It's kind of cool the way that works out. In the end, Vanisher gets away, and the androids are destroyed. Blob and the X-Men are thrown in the same jail cell in the castle prison. The team ends their issue wondering what the wrecked androids were all trying to be about, and then they try to wake up Blob so he can bust them from their prison cell. Okay, on to the other team. We'll call them Team Blue for no particular reason. Okay, so this team consists of Cyclops and Iceman. They infiltrate their base, the American one, and they get as far as the base general's office and try to explain the situation. Cyclops isn't believed, so he and Iceman break out of the general's office, and we leave them being attacked while they try to take out the missiles on the base. Whew, okay, that's a lot. But this issue also starts a little side story in the last 5 or so pages of the next handful of comics, so they kind of add up to one longer story. These little extras tell the story of how the X-Men even formed. This part starts with Professor X post his fight with Lucifer, where he lost the use of his legs. He's become a recluse and reads a newspaper about how the mutant who will become known later as Cyclops, how he's kind of in trouble in public. I don't know. So the rest of this story covers Charles Jedi mind tricking his way into FBI headquarters and making a deal with the agent. We've met him before. He's an FBI agent, Fred Duncan. Basically, they all agree to let Charles handle mutants that they find, and it looks like Cyclops is just the first one up. Okay, Avengers 46 opens with the Avengers hanging in the HQ. Wanda is posing for Cap, who is ignoring her. Then she flirts with Herc, who doesn't seem to know that she's doing so. Wanda really likes ripped dudes for show. Wasp enters with her new butler, and it turns out that he's the villain of the week. When he's dismissed by her, he sneaks a bomb into Avengers HQ and announces to us that he's the Whirlwind. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I thought the same thing. Whirlwind has never appeared before as Whirlwind, but Marvel Comics has covered this particular mutant before. This guy has been in before under a different name, the Human Top, and I missed reviewing his issues. I missed a mutant. I have failed you. My disappointment is immeasurable.
Is immeasurable.
And my day is ruined.
And my day is ruined.
The Human Top appeared in 7 issues of Tales to Astonish, where he previously fought Goliath. I'm going to go back and make this right, I swear. I plan on doing a single Human Top spectacular, covering all those issues ASAP. But in the meantime, please accept my sincere apology. I'm sure this will happen again. There's so many mutants to cover. I know this is going to happen again. It just happens to be the first time. So sorry. All right, let's get back to this issue. Whirlwind is a mutant who can spin fast. That's all he does. He's known, he's like a known thief with a huge chip on his shoulder because Goliath had him thrown in prison. Back then, Goliath was named Giant Man, by the way. Most of the rest of this issue has Goliath and Wasp shrunk down, Honey, I Shrunk the Kid style, unable to regain their normal size, but they know that Whirlwind has planted this bomb, so they're trying to either disarm it or get a message to non-shrunken heroes to tell them about the bomb. So they fight, then control some ants. Goliath is also Ant-Man. Just out of curiosity, Mom, have I done a good job explaining over all these issues that this guy has the following names? Giant Man, Ant-Man, Goliath, and the nickname High Pockets? Let me know down in the comments. I'm kind of curious if I've done a good job here. Moving along, Cap and Quicksilver figure out what's going on, and Cap hits Whirlwind in the face with his shield. There's no time to defuse this bomb, so Quicksilver rushes it into the East River where it explodes underwater. This page right here, page 18, is the most interesting of the issue. We see some Muggle humans talking smack and generally distrusting humans. Specifically here, Pietro can hear them calling his sister nutty, and he gets an angry face panel. I've mentioned before that Pietro is growing to distrust humans. They just keep pushing him further and further and further. So back at HQ, Whirlwind has escaped. Pietro blames the hero humans for allowing him to escape and calls himself Homo Superior. Ooh, that's a bad look. That smacks of Magneto. We tease the villain of the next issue, which happens to be Magneto. Kind of exciting twist there. The Avengers issue has a great story, but some really clunky dialogue. Just one example here on page 15. Goliath says, "Don't forget, the Whirlwind has a bomb set to explode all of Avengers HQ any minute now." Okay, whatever. And then Wasp says, "Oh, with all the excitement, I'd forgotten all about that." It's just so clunky. This is a really good example of there not being enough story beats after the artist has finished the pages. The Marvel method is failing here because Roy Thomas and John Buscema are not in lockstep. So they wrote that reminder, the 2 dialogue boxes, from 3 pages ago to fill in the dialogue space where there was no story to tell. So overall, this is a good issue. The story is actually great and the art is good. I like seeing Pietro having a different reaction to the racism from humans than Wanda. Good world building, good character growth. I like that Pietro and Wanda are no longer like the same person and always kind of like thinking the same types of stuff. They're different people. X-Men number 38, I almost forgot the number, is good, not great. I like the 3 stories with the team splitting up plus the history of the X-Men. I do happen to know what happened here. Comics in the 60s were like 20 pages of story, rarely more or less. And the rest of the comic was ads and letters from fans. The final Factor 3 story was not evenly divisible by 20, but there was no clean place to break it. So this issue is 5 pages short and ends with a cliffhanger on the 2 X teams as well as the captured Charles and Banshee. So what do you do with those 5 pages? Well, you start a small serial and you cut it off into other issues. But that choice, while maybe a good one, leaves this issue as the middle of a trilogy without the benefit of any bombshell. No one ever finds out that there's a Darth Vader and he's somebody's father and maybe he gets their hand chopped off. I don't know, just as an example. Well, you survived another session in the Danger Room. For more character info, reading lists, and what other nerdy projects I'm tangled up in, head on over to Jordy.com. New episodes drop Wednesdays at noon and Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Please remember to spare a thought for me as I dive into 7 straight issues about a guy whose entire power is spinning really fast. I'll see you on the other side of that Human Top marathon.